share out screen here as well. Mhm. Go. All right. Well, welcome to Moodle for new users. This is a course that we kind of created after delivering this as a workshop at many conferences. We find that even people who've been using Moodle for a while often need a little refresher once in a while. And there are new features that come out over time. And in this course, Moodle for new users, we are using our OpenLMS Academy site, which is based off of Moodle version 3.11. And at the very end of this course, the very last week of this course, we're going to give you a tour of what Moodle 4.0 is going to look like and how that UX changes. So for people who've been in the Moodle community for a while, Moodle has a regular cadence of updates. And this latest one, Moodle 4.0, is actually a little bit further behind what we typically see. And that is because there was a large overhaul to the UX. If you've used other LMSs, you'll notice that as Moodle moves to 4.0, starts to look more like some of the other LMSs, but doesn't lose any functionality. In fact, it gains even more. So that's a nice little bit of functional improvement, but also a really nice and sleek looking UX. And we will take a look at that at the very end of this course to give you a bit of a preview. In this course, all of our courses have a getting started section where you can actually see the badge you're going to earn. We will have instructions about how to connect a badge backpack to this site at the end, like where to go to sign up for one and how to connect it. So you can export that badge and store it in your virtual backpack. And then you can share it in places like LinkedIn or Twitter. We love when people share their badges on their LinkedIn profile. Obviously, it gives us some visibility, but it's exciting for people to be able to showcase on their LinkedIn profiles which types of professional development they've participated in. You'll see here we have our course communications forum. That's where we'll send info out to you. The raise your hand forum is where you can ask questions and we'll jump in and answer them. And as I mentioned, you have a couple facilitators in the course. You have myself, Jamie, our colleague Michael, and Rebecca and Jaslyn, who are both located in Australia. So you may see answers posted in there from any one of us as we all continue to monitor the forums and help to facilitate these courses. You'll also see that we have a page here with our Google Meet connection information for webinars. So if you ever forget that, or you just need to find it for some reason, you can find it right here in the course. Down below that, our timeline. So we tell you that we've got our 3 webinars. This is a 3-week course, but we will fit a lot of information in here. And we talk a little bit about what to expect. So 6 modules presented over 3 weeks. I would estimate you probably have 1 to 2 hours of content per week, and then the webinar on top of that. This course will stay open for 30 days after that last webinar, and you can still work on it, still complete this capstone project, which is nothing super involved, so don't worry about that. And then once all of that's complete, you'll earn the badge for the course. We often say that the course is effective when you have courses or topics in mind to make the focus of your journey. So sometimes people are thinking, how am I going to roll this project out? Or I need to figure out what to do about this course that's going to go online. But if you don't, that's perfectly okay. This course will probably hit on a variety of different things that you've been thinking on about or working on. The next thing you'll do here is you will create your own practice course. So when you click on this link, this is going to take you to a page where you can click this request a sandbox button. And when you do that, that's going to send a notice to the admins, myself and Michael on the site, and we'll be able to approve that. And what that gives you is a test course here on this site. Now, a couple of things about the site. I mentioned that we're on Moodle 3.11. We're also using the Fordson theme on this site. This particular theme will be sunset, though. So in 4.0, so we won't use this theme going forward, but that is the theme. Sometimes people ask. You'll also see that when you add an activity or resource to a course, we have many, many, many plugins here on this site. Not all of those plugins are available on all of the different sites and products that we offer here, but they are all from the Moodle plugin repository, the Moodle plugin database. And there's a lot of different things to try out there. So feel free in your sandbox course to try all of the different things that you see. Come back out to the course here. So we start this week. I have my dates off. Let me go back. This week, you will get access to the introduction to the platform once I fix our restrict access there. Oh, no, that was right. I was just reading it wrong on the main page. So, introduction to the platform. This will give you a lot of information about what the Moodle as a whole. So we usually ask people to tell us a bit about their background and their experience. You'll get an intro to Moodle here that kind of tells you the background. And I think one of the coolest things about Moodle is that this actually grew from someone's graduate school project. And it was informed, the development of this product was informed by that person's lived experience growing up in Australia and being young. And he was had to move with his family to a very remote part of Australia where he did school by transistor radio. And every couple of months, a plane would come and drop school supplies in the area where he lived. And that influenced his desire and um, personal motivation for creating something so that people who did live in remote regions or had low access to education finally would have equitable access. And so, as you read that introduction to Moodle, you'll get to learn a little bit about the history. Moodle is about 20 years old. It's just celebrated its 20th birthday. And so it's been around for a while, and it's very much community driven. So you heard me mention the Moodle plugin database a little while ago. And that plugin database is plugins that are created not just by the Moodle Corporation, but by people around the world who saw a need and had the ability to develop something and created plugins. And those are all community created. One of the things that's unique about Moodle is the terminology. So in here, you'll look at an H5P activity all about Moodle terminology and what some of the words are that we say. For example, plugin, and there are many others. So you'll go through that H5P activity in there. H5P is, have to fix it, one of our very favorite activity types here at the OpenLMS Academy. We love that we can build interactive and engaging content for free. Moodle is the only learning management system that connects to that has a built-in version of H5P that's completely free. With other learning management systems, you often have to subscribe at h5p.com in order to bring that content in, but with Moodle, you don't have to. Next, you'll use the Moodle book to look at navigating the site and courses. And here we talk about navigating from the moment of login, and you may notice the color scheme in the back is a little bit different. And that is just an older site, different branding. You'll learn here about finding your courses and what happens when we accidentally filter things on the dashboard. And the reason we bring that up is that is one of the most common reasons that someone doesn't see a course on their dashboard is they've accidentally filtered it. So we've got quite a bit of information in there for you about that. And then finally, we have a get to know one another. So you would start one discussion in here. If we don't have anyone else join the course, no worries. We will all be posting in there as well and sharing things from our perspectives of having taught with Moodle and being admins for a while. And some of us are newer to using Moodle than others. And so you'll gain our perspective in there. And that is the content that you'll have available to you this week. Next week, the new content, such as course setup, settings, activities, and things like that, will open up. And each week at 8 in the morning on the Wednesday of every week, the next content will open. And every webinar will be a little bit like this, although the other webinars will be more robust because we'll have content to cover. But we'll look at what we've covered in the past week, and we'll get into some supplementary teaching there and some information. And then we'll look ahead at the week to come and do a review or a preview of what we're going to cover in that week to come. This is a 3-week course. So we have this week's webinar, next week's, and then the following week, which is the wrap-up webinar. And we also offer an option at the very end of the course to sign up for a 30-minute one-to-one session with a member of our team. So we'll have our Calendly links in there, and you can sign up and do kind of a consultation with us where if you have remaining questions or there was something we didn't cover in the course that you still have questions about, you can ask us there one-to-one. At the completion of the course, you'll earn a badge for this course. And as I mentioned, we do have a capstone project, and I'm going to open up my navigation drawer here and come right down to the capstone project. And This capstone project is going to ask you to create one activity in your sandbox course, and you can choose any activity available on the site. And in the activity description or in the assignment area here, you'll tell us why you chose this activity, how it's different from activities you've used in the past, whether those were face to face or online activities, what settings you used, what configuration you used in that activity to make sure that learners are able to meet their objectives, whether or not this will be a graded activity, and sometimes it's not. And if so, what assessment or grading method you'll use. And then you'll submit a link to that activity here in the submission area, and we will go through and grade that and provide you with feedback. Some other things that we are going to cover in this course overall are all about course setup, the various settings in courses, um, and within activities, what the different activities are, and how we sometimes use those activities to make the most out of what we're trying to do. And we will also take a deep dive into gradebook, assessment, and accessibility. So, one of the things with Gradebook is that in this course, toward the end, we will have a folder where you can download some different resources. We have one that compares, that gives you it's like a full compendium of Gradebook information, and we will be sharing that with you at the end, as well as some accessibility resources that we like to share out for folks who are building online and trying to make sure that their material is accessible to all learners. So this typically is our shortest webinar of all of them because we don't have a lot of content to talk about yet. So we have some time to just sort of chat here a little bit about what you're hoping to get out of the course, Tara, and any questions that you might have right up front. So please feel free to tell us a little bit more about what you're hoping to get out of the course and ask us any questions.
Well, I really don't have any questions. Like I said, I've been working on Open LMS for the past couple of years, but it was pretty much trial and error because we jumped in during COVID. And now we're kind of circling back and making sure, because I believe there's going to be different assignment types that I haven't figured out how to use properly. And I actually, for our school, teach the other instructors how to utilize them. So I figured it'd be best if I learn the proper way before I start teaching other people.
Absolutely. So at with your school, are you doing collaborative assignments at all with with the learners where you want
Um,
them to like work
so
together or
when you say collaborative, do you mean group assignments or do you mean like using the actual collaborate tool?
more like group assignments, like where we're looking for them to work together to write something and submit it, or everyone does something individually and we're looking for peer evaluation and review.
Okay, so we do discussion questions and with the open forum and actually ask that they interact with each other that way. But we have been wanting to figure out the group function to do group assignments and kind of break them out separately.
Mhm.
Especially after the beginning of the year, I will be starting our MA program. So I would like to incorporate in a week-to-week project that they would do group assignments with.
Okay, awesome. So we will definitely talk about how to do groups in the actual assignment activity. We'll talk about groups and forms as well.
Mhm.
And then we'll talk about the workshop activity where we can certainly have people work in groups. But one of the things we like about workshop is that I could be working on my assignment and I submit it there, and there is a group of peers who will come and give me feedback, and I can define what things they need to give feedback on and how they're going to evaluate their peer submission, and I can take that feedback and bring it into the next week and continue to grow my projects. But we'll also talk about some of the other collaborative items such as Wiki and Glossary, both of which can be used for collaborative things. We love Wiki as a collaborative workspace. We separate it out by groups, and the group can work in there to craft their project and their assignment, and they can do it asynchronously, so it doesn't have to happen necessarily in real time, and then they can take all that feedback and create the actual assignment together. So we'll be touching on all of those different activities and topics, and we'll definitely get into some information on group work too.
Good. That would be good because I have seen the wiki feature, but I have not had time to mess with it to kind of figure that out.
Absolutely, and we might even put a test one in here that we try out so that we can see how it works from that student perspective.
Okay. Thank
All
you.
right. You're welcome. All right. Well, that's all that we have for this week. Keep your eye open for any announcements from us. We'll post those in the forum. And if you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to us through that raise your hand forum. We may have other people join us in this course. And if not, not to worry. We'll have plenty of people here jumping in. We have lots of new hires who are eager to join this course with us. And so you may see them in here as well.
Great.
All right. Well, enjoy the rest of your vacation, and we will see you next week, Tara.
Thank you. Look forward to it.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.